Dang it, I missed it. I almost had that timing perfect, but I missed it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. This is another show of, Master Your Marketing with Mel, StreamYard deep dives, Q&A about StreamYard, love everything live streaming, whatever we want to call it today. It is Friday. My name is Melanie Dyann Howe, and I am a live streaming mentor who I love live video, and I love helping people learn how to create better content so they can market themselves and reach their goals. That's really the goal here. So welcome. This is brought to you by StreamYard, of course. We are live with StreamYard, and I am super excited to take you on a little bit of a deep dive today on all right, look, somebody said earlier, let's see, who was it? It was Barb. Barb T USA. It's not necessarily that these features are new. Now, there is one that we're going to cover today, the Portrait Studio, that is definitely a newer one. It is new, it is raw, it's real, it's bleeding edge, and it is going to get even better. So we are going to cover that one today too. But I'm just wanting to do a little deep dive on some features today. So I've got 5 features that I'm going to cover today that some of them have been around for a while, and some of them are a little newer. But I just wanted to take a deep dive because I feel like a couple of these features, I feel like they're kind of like OG features, but I feel like people forget about them. So anyways, we're going to do a little deep dive on features today. I'm going to hang out with you guys. Guys, guess what? We're good. I'm going to hang out for a while. We can hang out for quite some time today. We'll do some Q&A as well. So I'll try to answer your questions as we get through to them as we get through these features and all those things too. So what is up? Got to say hello. We got Chicago in the house. Very excited to see Davidson's All Natural Gym. Video for Bosses is here. Of course, she's tuning in from London today. Thank you for being here. It's always great to see you in the comments. I love when you're here live with me. It makes me feel extra special because it's Janine, right? Janine, is that right? Jeannie. Oh, I always forget it. Anyways, she is also an amazing live streaming teacher and instructor. So if you haven't checked out Video for Bosses, make sure you check out that page. You can learn a lot about live streaming and all kinds of great things. So let's see. We got Long Island is in the house. We got Michael Daniels is here. He said it is the Mel Live. Great to see you, young lady. Hope you're doing well. I am doing well. Love to see you as well here, hanging out with us for sure. So we got Canada in the house. We got we got all kinds of people here. Okay, we got Colorado. Let's see. Scully's House of Thriller says, I've been playing with StreamYard for a year. Can I get a simple answer why there is no dark mode? Great question. So you can actually go to dark mode by just using Chrome, and you can change Chrome to dark mode. That's actually an easy way. That's probably why there's no dark mode, because you can just change the Chrome browser. Maybe that's why. Not sure. But that's one way to do it, right? I know that sometimes people don't like the bright screen. The bright screens, by the way, can also affect your lighting. So for example, I've got my screen on and StreamYard's wide open and it's a brighter screen. Now watch what happens when I minimize StreamYard. Watch my face. So when I do that now, it didn't change that much probably, but you are going to get a little bit of a shift in your lighting when you have a big monitor, especially if you have a larger monitor like I do, and you are using that brighter mode. Now, granted, that can help you sometimes too. Sometimes that can help illuminate your face a little bit better. Speaking of, has no one commented yet? Let me look. I'm scrolling down, not one of you have commented on the new background. Right? Nobody's commented on the new background. Where are my like regulars? They're all here. Video for Bosses. Jim is here. Jim Lawyer is here watching out. Bowling with the Fef is here. These are people that are here all the time. Nobody's noticed. You got to cheat yesterday. She was on my stream yesterday hanging out when I was kind of like previewing, right? I was kind of doing a little test mode. Let's see. I saw Amy... hey, listen, if you want the dark mode, all you got to do is send an email to, go to the StreamYard.com/contact. There should be a form there and you can absolutely submit your opinion and your thoughts, or tune in on Sunday night to our town hall show. Dan and Gage they're live every single Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. That is one of the best ways where you can suggest what you want. That is what that show is for. It's for them to share news with you and you to share your desires with them. So definitely Schoolie's House of Thrillers, tune in on Sunday night for sure. So, all right, yes, lava lamps are back. So I've had the lava lamps stored away for a while. Quick story. Those of you that don't know, I used to have my studio was in a different location in my condo. And then we moved into a house on the golf course this past summer. And it has been so hard to figure out what I want to do with my office. My office is kind of it's an interesting room. It's right in the front of our house. So I didn't really want to have all my stuff out I said, screw it. So if you walk in my house and you look in this room, you are going to see one heck of a desk. That is for sure. Lots of wires, lots of stuff, lots of cameras, lights and all the things. But I basically, before, you may have remembered, the shelves were in my background. All those big built-in shelves, didn't love it, kind of created a little bit of issue. So literally yesterday morning, I've been thinking about doing this. So yesterday I did it. I literally flipped my desk around. And so the wall that is behind me, I used to face, which I kind of like. So I've got some windows to my left, which I like. I can look outside. I do get distracted easily, which could be an issue. But then, of course, I put this little table behind me and I brought the lava lamps back. It makes me very happy to have my lava lamps back. That plant right there is not going to stay because it will die in that corner because it's not going to get enough light, but it's there for now. So I always encourage you to try new things and have some fun with it along the way. That's the best thing you can do. So, and just nothing ever has to be permanent. So, it is what it is. We'll change it up. We'll keep changing it up. Maybe I'll put something on the wall up here. Don't know. Maybe I won't. Don't care right now because we're going to talk about a feature deep dive, aren't we? Okay. All right, my friends, we are going to dive in here. So definitely having some fun. If you have a question about today's features or other features, okay, I would like you to put a Q in front of your comment. That is going to help me find your comment, your question in the midst of all of the regular comments. So if you've got a question related to this stuff today, that would be fantastic. Now, I will tell you, I cannot answer questions around new features or feature requests or, is StreamYard going to implement XYZ? I don't know the answers to those questions. You can post them. I probably just won't answer them. I may ignore them, quite frankly, because there may be so many great questions that I want to make sure that I get to them. So let's see. I see a couple questions coming in. So I am definitely going to make sure that I use the starred comments feature, and that's what we're going to do. So, okay. All right. So we're going to jump in. Yep. Okay. I got you. Yogesh, I got your question. I have it in the queue. So I will definitely put that in my queue of starred comments. So as I mentioned, we're going to do a deep dive on 5 features today. Now, it doesn't mean that we won't talk about a few other features, but these are the ones that I wanted to talk about today. So I'm going to cover them one by one. I'm going to do a little bit of demonstration on a couple, but I can also answer some questions. Okay. Now, the first one I wanted to talk about. Now, if you read the description, there's no secret here. You know what I'm going to talk about. The first one is a feature. It's not a feature, right? Like it is basically use a particular capability of the studio to then make it a feature. And that feature is to use transitions, video transitions. And this is something I've talked about before on the show, but I still feel like it is just one of those things that people either get way too intimidated by, and so they don't do it, or they don't realize that this is something they can use the video feature for. So inside of your studio, inside of the StreamYard studio, in your brand tab, you have the ability, if you're on a paid plan, I think the free plan includes videos, by the way. And I'm not sure if that's on purpose or if that's just a mistake, but I am almost certain that even if you're on a free plan, you can't upload your own logo and you can't upload overlays and you can't upload custom backgrounds, but I do believe you can upload videos. I do believe that's there. Now, again, I'm not sure if that's on purpose. Maybe Dan and Gage missed that one. I'm not sure. But I actually think that this is part of the free plan. So anyway, that's why I kind of like this feature too. So if you're on a paid plan, you definitely have this feature. Now that is to upload video clips. Now, you're going to upload a clip. If you saw the beginning of this show, you saw that I used a countdown timer. That countdown timer is an example of a video clip. However, video clips don't have to be videos. They don't have to be videos. They can just be short little things. So what I mean by that is like a transition. Now, you may have seen me do this earlier in the stream. That is not a StreamYard feature. You're going to notice that has a transparency aspect to it. I am using OBS virtual camera to display my webcam to you, so I'm able to do a couple of extra things. But when I say video transition, what I mean is either something like that, which is just like a little blippy thing that kind of commercializes something, or maybe it's an introduction to the next segment of your show. A lot of you have segments in your show. You do an intro, you talk about something, and then maybe you go into Q&A. And that Q&A could be introduced with a animated video like what you just saw. That's like live Q&A time. You could even add music to it if you really wanted to, or some sound effects. And you could have a lot of fun with that. But again, this is going to add an extra sizzle to your stream. So video transitions. Literally, I'm going to show you how to do this. So what I've done, I need to share my screen. Share my screen, which is a feature that I hope to God you're all using all the time. Okay, so we are in Canva. I know the Creator Classroom is excited about that. All right, so this is basically just a PowerPoint-ish type of slide, a presentation slide, okay? So this is a slide that I used in a stream of my own a while back. And honestly, you can literally use Canva to create whatever you want. It is so easy to create all these different things. This is just a simple slide. Now, I'm going to click on this page and I have it animated. Now, let me go down to another page. This page is not animated. So it's just a slide. So if I export this, it's just going to be static, nothing to it. But if I use Canva and I simply go up here to this animate button and I click animate, I have all these different options about animating my slide. And if you just hover over it, it's going to show you kind of a sped up preview of what that looks like. And once you decide on one, well, that one's really crazy. Once you decide on one, then you are going to have a couple more options about it, right? So you've got all these different options. This is a good one. I actually like this one, the block one. It's a bit overused, but I like it. So let's click on that one, okay? Now, once I decide on that, it's going to give me a couple of other options. Do I want it to just animate when that slide is started? Or do I want to just do it on the exit where it's going to wipe away? Or do I want to do both? I'm going to select both for this particular purpose. Now, you can select your direction. As you can see, you've got all these customizations you can do. Super, super cool. You can go even further. You can customize the color that's going to be that background. Right now it's yellow and white. You can customize that if you want. We're going to leave it really simple. So I am going to leave this as it is. If I want to extend this video transition slide, I can make it longer if I want as well. So that's how I'm going to literally adjust it right here if I want to make it longer. I think 5 seconds is fine. Actually, I take that back. Let's go with 7 seconds. Okay, so I'm going to increase that to 7 seconds. So now, all I'm going to do now is page 2. I'm going to download this file. Now, you want to download it as a video file because this is a little video transition. It's a clip. So we're going to download this. I'm going to select the page that I am on, current page, because I don't want all the pages in my current design here. So page 2, we're going to download that clip. And it is going, I also want to download that at 1080 because I am streaming in 1080. If you're on the professional plan, then you can stream at 1080. If you're on a different plan and you're not streaming at 1080, then you don't need it to be 1080. Do it anyway. Just do it anyway so your file is 1080. So download, I'm going to download that file. It's going to save somewhere. And while that's saving, I want to check in on the comments really quick. And because the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to upload that to StreamYard. And so before I'm going to get on, I'm going to literally do a live tutorial here. So I'm going to save my file. So going to literally do a live demo here, but I want to check in on the comments really quick. Oh, Dana's here. Yes, she said, yes, you can on the free plan. Dana, I discovered this and I literally was like, is that on purpose? Because again, I feel like StreamYard's so generous with all the free features. And I was like, maybe that one's a mistake. Maybe I shouldn't tell anybody. Maybe we should leave it a secret. But nope, sounds like it's good to know. Good public knowledge. So every single person watching this stream, if you're using StreamYard or if you haven't started using StreamYard and you want to dabble with it and you like what I'm about to show you, everyone gets the opportunity to use this feature. So we are using the video feature inside of StreamYard. So you're going to upload the video. So I'm going to show this to you in just a moment. Checking in on everybody. OBS virtual camera? Yeah, maybe that's a whole nother show someday, right? Okay, so checking. Do I work at StreamYard? I am a content contributor and a major brand ambassador. I love StreamYard. StreamYard is a tool that I have used for a very long time. I am not an employee of StreamYard. I am a content contributor for StreamYard. And I guess you could say a little bit of a spokesperson because I'm always talking about StreamYard to all kinds of people, including one of my kids' teachers, including parents at the volleyball court at the tournaments. I am always talking about StreamYard because I love it so much. So there you go. We got some questions coming in. Okay, I am going to definitely pop in and we're going to do this. Okay, so Bowling with the Fef says 5-second animated Canva graphic is my SOP for introducing a live guest. Perfect. So Bowling with the Fef is already using this kind of feature. So I love it. Oh, Video for Bosses says I go with 6 seconds. Depending on how much info I have in the video file, I'll go with a slightly longer duration, that's actually why I went with 7 seconds, because this little video transition I'm about to show you has, it's got the content in it, right? So if it was just some graphics and whatnot, it could be shorter. But this transition I'm about to show you actually has content in it, which is why I made it a little longer so that it gives people a little more time to read it. 7 seconds might not even be long enough, honestly, because there's a lot of content in it. So, all right, so let me get back to where I was. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make sure I do this without. Yeah, I can do this. Okay. So I am actually going to enter a test studio. Oh, I don't want to do that. Ooh. I'm trying to make sure I don't create some sort of funky. We're good. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share my screen again. All right. We're going to go with, here we go. All right. So by the way, this you're looking at right now is a custom layout. We're going to cover that feature here in a little bit. So that is another feature I'm going to be showing you. But the default screen share layout, as you saw earlier, is actually looks like this. Okay. This is your default one. You have everyone who starts with StreamYard, everybody has this layout. This is a custom layout that I created. I just kind of like my face a little larger. It's a little more engaging. The screen is still large enough that you can see what's going on. So that's where we are with this right now. So, okay, we're in StreamYard. I'm in the studio. I'm going to go over here to brand. So if you look out here way off to the right, you see my little mouse, brand, and I am going to go down to videos and I'm going to add a video clip. All right. So I'm going to click add video clip. I am going to find my video transition 2. I'm going to open it and it's going to upload. Now, this is pretty quick. It used to be, it used to take a while, honestly, but StreamYard's, again, just constantly improving things. And so this is super fast. Uploading files is super fast. So now that this is in the studio, okay, I'm actually going to go to solo mode, back to this. So you're about to see this video transition in real life, okay? Now, this video transition does not have any audio to it. So when you use a video clip, if it has no audio, one thing you need to always remember is that your microphone or any guests you have on screen, the mics are hot. You will still hear your voice. If the video has audio, it is going to automatically mute anyone on screen. So if it's got music or sound effects at all, it's going to mute your mic, and it is going to, the only thing that the audience will hear is the audio from the video file itself. Okay, so that's very important to remember. So if you want that mute to automatically mute and you want to play music, you want to add some music to your transition slot video. However, always make sure that you have the rights to use whatever audio you're using. So use a copyright free or something that you have a subscription to, like Canva Pro or Epidemic Sound or whatever that might be. Just make sure that you have the rights to the audio files so that you don't get in trouble and your stream gets pulled down or all those terrible things that could happen to you. Okay, so everybody good with that? All right, good. All right, so now let's play this video transition file so you can see what it looks like. All right. So remember, you guys saw me go in. It was just a simple static slide with some content on it. I just did some animations to make it have some motion. And now we're going to see it in real life. So here we go. This is the video transition slide. Look at that. Now it should wipe away. Oh, it didn't. Maybe I didn't click both. I don't know. I thought it was supposed to wipe away on the exit. Maybe it's because of the way that maybe it's because I'm not using it as a slide. Honestly, I don't know. That's not something for me to answer. Either way, you saw what it looked like. Now, here's another example of a different slide that I did. I animated this earlier before the show, and I put it in here too. So again, another version just so you can show. So if you're like introducing a topic, see, that was really short. So again, if you're introducing something new and you want to, give yourself a break from screen or have it be an introduction to the guest, use this feature, right? Now, the other thing you can do is you can also create intro videos. You can create outro videos. You can create segment videos. And when I'm saying segment videos, I mean like get a little fancy with it. This is a super simplistic thing. Over on my show, on my channel, I have a little intro video. So I play a countdown, kind of do some stuff during the countdown. And then when it's time to start the show, I actually click on a video in my video files and it plays a little intro video. I totally made it in Canva. It was super easy to make. I just used a template and I updated the content with my own. And now I have this fun little intro video. So it's very easy to do. You need to tinker around with it or have somebody make you something, have somebody make you some of these videos and you can do it. So it adds a little extra sizzle, as I always say, to your show. So don't be afraid to use things like this. It's super easy. And as Dana confirmed, every single StreamYard user has the ability to do this. Even if you're just on the free plan, you have the ability to upload your own videos, which therefore you can create video transitions in your live streams. I mean, hello, talk about looking like amazing. I almost said a bad word. Talk about looking like an incredible professional. And again, here's why this is important. When you level up your streams, you are going to stop the scroll. People are going to see these little things while they're watching you, and they are absolutely going to be like, whoa. What's Mel doing? That looks awesome. They're more likely to stop and engage with you if you can add a little extra sizzle to your stream. Now, if you are brand new, never streamed in your lifetime, then I hope that you see what's possible. I hope this inspires you to get going and start live streaming, especially using StreamYard. It's so easy. So definitely wanted to point this out. So Dream Talking with Vicky says, I'm going to play with that today. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm telling you, it's so much easier than you think. So I just wanted, I have talked about this feature. Again, it's not a feature. It is the video upload is a feature, but there are so many ways you can use that video upload. You can use it for countdown timers, outro videos. You can use it for playing tutorials in the middle of your stream, which I'll show you in a second as well. And you can use it for little transitional videos just like this. Again, add a little music to it. Have a little fun with it. Maggie says, Canva Pro has music? Canva Free has music, actually. You just have limited access. You just have limited access to it. So I would definitely encourage you to go check out the Creator Classroom. Creator Classroom, she is a specialist in Canva. She's a wonderful advocate of the show and the channel and StreamYard, and she's a StreamYard and teaches great things about using Canva. So go check out her channel and you'll learn a little bit more about all those awesome features that are available. Okay, let me check in on the comments really quick before we pop over to the next feature that I wanted to do a deep dive with today. So we got, Johnny Bean is in the house. What's up, Johnny Bean? Good to see you for sure. Okay, so great question. Amy's got a great question related to this feature. So Amy says, so the video automatically goes away when it's done playing. I don't have to manually switch back to what was on screen before. So I will show you. This is important. So you have two options, Amy. Amy, you do have an option of the video looping. And then if you don't have it on loop, then it's going to automatically go away, which is, depending on how you look at it, it's a really good thing. And it could also be a bad thing. No, not a bad thing, but just, you got to know what you're doing, right? So let me go back to share my screen again. So inside the studio that you see, right? So if you look out here, if we go over to our video section, see this where it says loop right here? Let me actually, tell you what, let's get a little zoom action here so you can see a little better. How about that? So video clips, you see that where it says loop. If you select loop, let me show you what would happen on that transition that I just played. Watch. So it's going to show you the slide. And then when it gets to the end, it's actually going to re-loop. So it's going to go back. Boom, boom, boom. Same slide over and over again. It's actually going to continue to loop until I deselect that video. So I just deselected it, which is how it went away. So actually, I guess I could have just showed it to you this way. So right here, and then you have to deselect it to get it to go away. Now, that works really well. That looping feature, I talked about this a few weeks ago on the stream. That's a really good feature for certain types of videos. For example, if you need to create a Be Right Back. So a Be Right Back video with it looping, okay, is going to always loop so that you can be right back indefinitely. So you don't know how long you're going to be gone. You might need to restart your computer. You might need to walk away. You just might be dealing with some tech issues. Maybe you're blowing your nose and you don't know how long it's going to take. Watch this video. As you see that blue bar at the bottom tells me it's getting close to the end. It is going to loop again. So it's going to start over and there you have it. So it's almost like a GIF file, right? Now, once I hit this video again, it's going to take it off. So that's once you deselect it, it will take it off. Now, if I didn't have loop on, right, then it's automatically going to go away when I'm done. So it's going to play that video and watch that blue bar. Once it gets to the end, it goes away. It's going to fade away. So great question from Amy Johnson. So you have the option. The thing is, it's great. You just need to make sure you know when that video is about to end, especially if you are in the stream, because once that video is gone, you're back on screen. Now, if you're not in the studio, if you haven't added yourself to the studio, then it's going to just go to whatever's on screen, the background, or if you had an overlay displayed or whatever. So great question, though. Great question. Casino says, love the detail you're giving. Well, good. I'm glad. That's the whole point, right? Here to help for sure. Okay. So want to check in really quick. So that was a good question. It was very related to that topic, which is why I wanted to get to that question while we were there. Okay. I think that I don't see any more questions. Well, this is one. Robin's Egg Blue Creation says, has anyone ever received copyright dings on YouTube for intro videos created in a paid Canva account? Do I need to add music, rights, text in the description? So I have heard of this. So there's a couple things to keep in mind. One, you need to make sure your YouTube account is connected to Canva. So you need to basically connect your YouTube account and connect the correct one to your Canva account. And then what it's going to do, it's really fancy how this stuff works. They're very smart people that created these things. It's good and bad. So when you export that video that has that audio file that you have rights to because of Canva Pro, it's going to basically attach that data to your file. And then when you use that file in your video in YouTube, it knows that that file was created and exported by you. Now, what I have found in my past, I used to create videos for my friends, and if I created it and exported it for them, even though they had a Canva Pro account as well, it actually would ding them. Now, the other thing we tried is I created a file and then I shared the file with them so that they could export the video file. It still did the same thing. The only way that we got around it was I had to basically share it as a template. They had to then make a copy in their account and then export the file from their account as if it was their design. So there are some quirky things with Canva. Now, I also know that there's imperfections with the whole copyright claims and all the copyright stuff. There are ways that you can go through it. So, I always say honestly, sometimes it's just best to eliminate. I mentioned earlier, you can use music and sound effects in those transition slides. Sometimes it's best just to maybe not use any of those files, those audio files, because you might run into it. Now, I know that it's ebb and flow with YouTube. It's ebb and flow with the copyright claims and all that stuff. Sometimes they're really good and sometimes it's like ridiculous, right? So yeah, Creator Classroom is saying you have to connect your account for sure. So, okay, so let me check in. I'm just checking in really quick. Oh, Poodle Professor, I've never done a live yet. Scared to show my face. Well, hey, your face is amazing no matter what. And there are people out there that need your face. So get your face out there, Poodle Professor. Get it going. Let's do it, right? Definitely want to see you go live for sure. Okay, I see some questions. I said Gabriel's got a question about banners, blah, blah, blah. I'll get to that in a second. Maggie is wanting to know about custom layouts. I'll be talking about that in a moment as well. I was using a custom layout for sure. Okay. I'm scrolling down, just checking. You guys are really, really active today. This is fantastic. Okay. Andy, I see your question over on X. So let me star that one. I'll try to get to that as well. Wow, you guys have all kinds of questions for me today. Okay, this is cool. All right, here we go. I'm going to star these questions. All right, here we go. Oh, Gabriel, you figured it out. Fantastic. Okay, cool. Okay, so the next feature I wanted to talk about, which is, feature number 2. So I guess I better get after it, right? So this one is, I feel this one's been around forever, but I want to talk about exporting your audio file so that you can use your audio from your videos in a podcast or any other audio, medium, or if you want to use that audio as a voiceover for something else, whatnot. So you can absolutely download not only the video that you do when you go live, that video automatically gets saved into the StreamYard studio unless you run out of space. And then you can download your video file, but you can also just download the audio file. And it's really easy to do. So I wanted to show this to you real quick as well. All right, so back in the studio, I'm going to go to my account. Custom layout. You're looking at a custom layout right now. And so what we're going to do is there's a couple ways you can do it. So you can get to your past streams 2 different ways. You can go to when you open up your studio, it's going to show you right here. If you have anything scheduled, it's going to show up in this screen, but it's also going to show you past streams in a list format. And so you can see all those streams right here. So if you go here, you can absolutely get to the download button. You can actually do a number of things. So click on download and it's going to give you these options. So you can download the recording, which is basically the video and the audio. And then you can download the audio only recording, which is what you want to do. Now, if you have a guest and you had this feature turned on, you can also download separate audio tracks, which for many of you that are repurposing your live stream interviews for podcasts like we do here. So StreamYard actually has a podcast as well. And you can download these separate recordings so that if your guest, for example, maybe their audio was really low. You can't control their audio when you're streaming. You can't control their audio really at all. They have to control it. So if you were to just download the audio and it was both of your voices together, you have to use what it is. But if you download those audio tracks separately, then when you upload both of those audio tracks to whatever editing software you're using to edit your podcast, you could bump their audio up so that it's more level with yours. So that's one of the great reasons why this separate audio track feature is fantastic. So I wanted to cover this a little bit because, again, I don't know that everybody realizes the benefit of being able to have that separate audio track. Now, if you want to just record the audio, you're going to literally select this and it's going to start downloading an MP3 file. And then it is going to save it to your computer. Super, super simple, super, super easy. And I don't know if you all noticed that, but you can also download your transcripts now in a VTT file as well. So very helpful when it comes to other types of repurposing of your content for sure. So those of you that maybe have a podcast or are thinking about a podcast, you can absolutely, here's the thing I want you to remember. It doesn't just have to be a live stream. So if you're wanting to create a podcast and you want to maybe record the video so you can maybe use some video clips to, promote your podcast, highly recommended, by the way, just saying, then you can absolutely use StreamYard. You don't even have to go live. You can just use the record only feature and just record this video. You don't even have to record the video. You can actually turn your camera off and just use it to record audio. So, many people are still using Zoom and Skype and other tools in addition to StreamYard because they think that's the best way to record these podcast interviews. It is not. It is not. If you're using StreamYard, you don't need those other tools. You can absolutely just use StreamYard, do your interview, record only, and you're going to absolutely have this ability to record separate video files and separate audio files. And then you can create this amazing podcast production. And so it's a high quality audio file. It's not chintzy. Some of those tools I mentioned earlier, I won't go into specifics. The audio quality is not good. It is not good. In fact, I can when I listen to certain podcasts, I'm like, you're using Zoom. Oh, did I say that out loud? Oh, my bad. Whoopsies. I'm just saying, you don't need to pay for all these extra tools. If you're using StreamYard, just use StreamYard. It's that simple. So again, you have the ability to repurpose the video, to create reels and shorts and other things to promote, get more traffic to your podcast. Heck, even just put the whole podcast interview up on YouTube maybe or wherever. and upload the audio file to wherever you want to host your podcast. And you've got this multimedia format going on. And quite frankly, you look like you have a 10-person production team and you could just be one person and doing all these things with one tool, StreamYard. That's how awesome it is. So again, just kind of wanted to do that little bit of a deep dive on that to make sure everybody knew. Now, let me show you real quick the other place you can do this. I almost forgot that was also a key thing. The other place you can go is just simply when you're in your dashboard. Okay. Again, you're going to see this upcoming. I just showed you to go to past. You can go to library. Library is actually where all of these videos with these wonderful, oddly captured screens are. Always a terrible face, always a silly face. I mean, look at this face right here, right? Always look at this one down here. Silly faces. So if you want to go look at your silly faces, then just go to your library and it's going to show you all your silly faces. I don't even know what it's picking there. But anyway, point being, you can also do the same thing I just described right inside of here. So you can actually click on these three dots and it's going to give you the same download button option right here, along with a few other options as well. So your video library has a lot of robust features in it. And again, I think that StreamYard's continuing to add more and more features. You can edit your video from here. You can do all kinds of things. But what I wanted to talk about today was how you can download that audio recording for audio podcasts or other audio things. I mean, heck, maybe somebody said something really funny or made a really funny sound effect, and you just want to take that little blip and make it a sound effect, for whatever you want to do. You could use it for that. So there's so many fun things you can do with audio files when it comes to creating content. So definitely wanted to make sure I touched base on that feature for sure. All right, let me check in on the comments. We got all kinds of people hanging out with us today. A lot of you are hanging out with us live. We got people all over. We've got people over. We have a lot of people hanging out with us over on X today, which is fantastic because sometimes we just have like a few people. So if you're hanging out with us on X, shout out to you. Thanks for hanging out with us and joining us over there on that platform. We are multi-streaming today. So in fact, I'm always multi-streaming. We are on Facebook. We're in our Facebook community, which if you're not part of the Facebook community, you definitely want to make sure you join that. It's a free community, open to everyone. Great place to ask questions to get answered. Great place to ask questions and get answers. How about that? Is that better? All you got to do is search StreamYard community in Facebook and it will show up for you. So, and then we're also over on YouTube. We're also on LinkedIn. And as I mentioned, we are over on X as well. So it's great to see all of our live viewers today. We've got a great show going for you. So I'm going to keep going and we're going to have a ton of fun. All right. So I'm going to keep starring some comments. I see some great questions coming in. So I am going to do Q&A when I get through these features. So I'm just kind of checking in really quick. Yeah, awesome. Midgard Musings says, StreamYard has been the best tool for my podcast. That's cool. House of Light Ministry says, I love the transcripts feature. It helps in editing. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Especially if now that you have AI and all these other apps out there, that transcript download is going to be very, very, very helpful down the road for sure. So yeah, Creator Classroom. Yeah, video calls, recordings, live. Yeah, you can use it for virtual meetings if you really want to. You don't even have to use it to create content if you don't want to. Let's see. Poodle Professor's got a question in the comments. So those of you on YouTube, if you've got an answer for her on where you love to host your podcast, put your recommendations in the comments so that Poodle Professor can get some tips from you for that. So I'm personally a fan of Buzzsprout. Love Buzzsprout, but there's a ton of them out there. So Gabriel sending nice words in the chat. Always great for sure. Okay, let's see. I am going to jump into the next feature, just making sure I don't have anything crazy going on in the comments or any related questions to more questions related to podcasting or downloading those audio files, right? Ooh, yeah. So Gator, definitely if Gator on that 1080 720 thing, I think that StreamYard's always loving feedback from people. So I would definitely reach out to the StreamYard team, give them your feedback, give them your thoughts on how you feel about the 1080 and 720 for sure. I highly would recommend you do that. Ooh, 5-year. We are using StreamYard for almost 5 years. Canadian Pinoy Radio Montreal. That's fun. Pinoy? Did I say that right? Hopefully. Okay, cool. That's great. I've been using StreamYard for 5-6 years, at least 5 years for sure. All right, here we go. We're going to jump in to our next feature for sure, because I've got 3 more features I wanted to talk about today. If you're just joining us, I'm doing a little bit of a deep dive on some features that I feel like are either underused, people forget about, or maybe they just need a little more enthusiasm on using them. So this next feature is a one that's been around for a while. Again, kind of feel like it gets forgotten sometimes. And that is to share your slides right from inside the studio. So, you can share your screen. And so you could have PowerPoint up on another monitor. You can share your screen, pull those slides in. You can do kind of a tutorial, a webinar style live video. If you want. If you're using StreamYard on air, then you absolutely can. This is how you would do your webinar on StreamYard on air as well. So you simply open PowerPoint, put it in presentation mode, and then you can share those slides by sharing your screen. Now, ideally, you have 2 monitors when you use this method, when you're using a share screen method. Ideally. I mean, you can use 1 monitor. I don't recommend it. I think it's very tricky and difficult, and I'm not very good at it myself because I'm spoiled with 2 monitors. So now, the other way around this, possibly, there's 2 benefits to what I'm about to describe that I can immediately come up with. There's probably more. You can also upload your slides into the StreamYard studio, and you can display them from right inside the studio. So you don't have to worry about sharing your screen or anything like that. Now, like I said, if you have 1 monitor or 1 screen, you would definitely want to consider this version and this feature of uploading your slides, because then you don't have to worry about the 2 monitors. It's right inside the studio. And I'm going to show you how to do it here in just a second. The other benefit that's really key is if you are a person who's streaming on the go, or you're not at home, or you are on somebody else's computer, lo and behold, if you have uploaded those slides into your StreamYard account prior to leaving and needing to use somebody else's computer, those slides are in your StreamYard studio. You don't have to have the file on your computer. You don't have to have the file at all. It's already uploaded into your studio. So again, huge benefit when it comes to on the go, or if you need to stream from somewhere else, or quite frankly, you just don't want to mess with the PowerPoint file. You just want to have it right inside the studio. It's right inside your account. So really quick, I will show you a tutorial video that I made back from the condo. You can tell because it's got the old background. But this is really quick. I'm going to show you how to actually get these slides in your account so that you can stream and share these slides right there from the account. So let me grab this video and I'll talk over it as it shows you how to do this. So very simple. You're going to go down to that present the present button at the bottom, and that is actually how you're going to do this. So let's check this out. Okay, so again, down at the bottom, now that says present, doesn't say share. Present, you're going to upload from your computer. You're going to find that PowerPoint file, add it, open it. It's going to upload to the studio. If you have slow internet like I did this day, it might take a minute. But if you have fast internet, it's probably going to process those slides pretty quickly. Now, it is going to convert your slides and make them flat. What that means is if you had any animations or any kind of flying text in and out or transitions, those are not going to carry over into your slide. Now you can toggle, as you can see, go from slide to slide. You can, of course, use all the different layouts. This is a really fast tutorial. I apologize. That was quick. That was a quickie. So point being is that you can't, it's on loop. I should probably not have it on loop. So you can upload the slides. And as I showed you, and I'll show you again, I'll do a little slower version of that. Then you can toggle around and do different things with them. So let's go into, let's go in here, and I'm going to show you, whoa, what am I doing? So I'm going to go into a demo studio like I was earlier, and I will show you that a little slower. How about that? We'll do it a little slower this time. So share my screen, get that back up. Okay. So down here where it says present, I'm going to click on that. Now, if you have slides uploaded, they are going to show up. So when you click on slides, okay, and you have them already uploaded, you click here, they're going to show up right here. And then you can delete them when you don't want them in your account anymore. But if you want to upload them from your computer, you simply click on upload and you are going to be able to upload those. Now, you will see Google Slides. You can, if you're using Google Slides, then you can actually also use Google Slides. You will literally connect your account, okay, which is not showing up. Hold on. Let me do this 1 sec. Let me stop this, and then I'm going to do this a little differently. Share screen. I'm going to share my whole screen. Okay, here we go. Now you'll be able to see what I was just showing you. Okay, so if I go back to this and I go to Slides and I go to Google Slides, it's going to pull up a window for you to connect your Google account. So if you are using Google Slides and they're saved into your Google account, this is going to allow you to just pull those right into your StreamYard studio. So super awesome feature as well. Now, you can also, when you upload, you can also upload PDFs as well. So that's also an option that you have. But PowerPoint example right here, we're going to open that. It's going to upload those right into my studio. It's going to take a minute processing. So it is flattening them. The larger your PowerPoint file, by the way, it is going to need to process. It's going to flatten them. Now, the other thing that happens with this is sometimes it will, your fonts can get a little weird. So just keep these things in mind when you're doing this. So these are the slides. These were literally made in Canva and then converted to PowerPoint, which is probably why they look weird. But if you watch, I can go to the next slide right here. So down here is how you control those slides. So if I wanted to add myself to the stage, let's do this and try not to have any interference. So I have all these different options about how I want to present my slides, right? And so that's what I was showing you is if you want to do this kind of webinar presentation, then you would be able to do this. And then you can literally click through your slides right here. So again, you're not having to worry about sharing your screen or the wonkiness that can happen when you're sharing a screen or needing to have two screens. You can just upload them right here. Now, I did mention this and I want to mention it again because it's really important is, let me just do that and go over to the correct studio. It's really important, which is why I'm full screen right now. So listen to me. If you're multitasking and you're kind of like half listening, whatever, and this is intriguing to you, you have to think about this. If you want to use animations, so like in PowerPoint, when you can on the mouse click, it will pull up each bullet at a time if you have it set that way, or you want your slides to transition and be all kind of fancy like that, or if you have any animations like GIF files inside of your PowerPoint, those are not going to carry over when you use this feature of uploading them into the studio. You will have to still use PowerPoint because PowerPoint is what controls the animations and all of that functionality. So you would need to keep it that way if you needed and wanted all those animations. If you don't care about all those animations, then you could just upload your slides because they're going to flatten. So they're just going to be static. They're just going to be like an image being displayed every way through, which quite frankly, I think is completely fine, especially if you're doing a little bit of a webinar style, then you can completely do that. But if you need those animations, you would definitely want to make sure you're still using PowerPoint and just use the shared screen, shared window feature inside StreamYard. So wanted to point that out for sure. So very cool feature, right? Super cool. And like I mentioned, when you're done with those slides, okay, so we're going to say remove, and then I'm going to just kick this out of the studio. And I'm going to go here. I'm going to go back to present, go to my slides. And when I'm done, I'm going to delete that. So why clutter up, your studio with files and things? So when you're done with it, you can just delete it. You don't need it in there anymore. You don't need that in your studio anymore. Done. Now it's gone. So now you can see no slides are there. And when you're ready, you just upload new slides. So super, super simple, super awesome. Wanted to cover that feature for sure because again, I keep seeing questions. The reason I brought this up and what we were just talking about is sharing your slides in the studio. So I see a lot of questions and I see a lot of people struggling and wanting to do these like webinar style streams and live videos and videos. And I'm like, just use that feature. So I wanted to point that out because I see enough questions out there that I feel like people don't realize that it's there. And maybe it's because, it says present and, people just they're not clicking through and understanding that. That feature's been out for a while. It was a great feature that they added a few years ago. And so I wanted to kind of cover that one as well. So check in on the comments. If you are just now joining us, we are doing a feature deep dive today. So I am talking about 5 features inside StreamYard Studio that I absolutely love, that I absolutely want to make sure everybody knows how to use and that everybody realizes is there, for one. And I'm doing a little tutorial and doing some Q&A. And then you guys are coming in hot and heavy with questions today. So we're going to hang out for a while. So if you're just now joining us, you're not going to miss out. We're going to be here for a little while longer. I'm going to cover 2 more features, and then I am going to go back and answer some questions. So I'm using the starred feature, the starred comments feature, which is not a feature I'm featuring today. That's a lot of feature. That's a lot of, like, if we were playing a drinking game and feature was the word, I'm sorry, we'd all be a little tipsy, wouldn't we? But we're not, right? We're not. So anyways, the starred comments feature is one of my absolute favorite features that I'm using. So what I'm doing is I'm using it and I'm putting some of these questions into the queue so that I can come back to them and answer them. So if you were here in the beginning and you asked a question, then I definitely am going to get back to your questions. So let's see. Vesus Vegetarian Kitchen says, is it available on iPad Air? Using a free plan, is it available on it? So the shared... Yes, the presenting feature is definitely on all of the free plans. Shared slides, not 100% sure. I think that's also part of it. So I'm almost certain that SlideShare is actually part of the free plan. So as far as iPad Air, though, you can use StreamYard on a mobile device or on an iPad. However, you cannot share a screen. That is just a limitation with the mobile devices as of right now. So as of right now, you cannot share a screen using that. You just go to StreamYard.com on any mobile device and it's still going to work, but sharing the screen is not going to work. So now uploaded slides, that does work, I think. Somebody's going to make a liar of me. I think that the uploaded slides work. Does anybody know? I'm not totally certain. I actually think that works. So that would be something to test for sure. And I would normally test it live, but because it's already an hour in and I've got a lot more to talk about, I'm not going to take the time to do that. But if somebody wants to do that and report back in the comments, let us know for sure. Okay. So again, if you're just now joining us, we are having a ton of fun. We are going to definitely keep this going for sure. So, okay. Andy King says, no relation. We use video and slides a lot for our soccer team podcast, show highlight videos, slides for stats, and ongoing contests. It's great. That's awesome. I love that. I'm going to have to check that out. So So do you have a YouTube channel? Is that where you do this? Let us know where we can check out these cool soccer podcasts. That sounds really, really cool that you're using all those different features. I love it. So, yes, another great point. If you wanted to use animations, you could use the video feature that I showed you earlier for sure. Making sure there aren't any more questions specific to that slides thing I just talked about. House of Light Ministries loves it. Fantastic. Andrew Kavanaugh's here. Great to see you, Andrew. Always good to see you in the comments. Okay, I think we're in pretty good shape. I'm just making sure I haven't missed any questions. So looks like we're good. All right, let's keep going, shall we? So next up, we are going to talk about my next feature I wanted to talk about is creating custom layouts. So I showed earlier when I was presenting my screen, you were looking at a custom layout earlier. So I wanted to make sure I clarified that was a custom layout. So let's talk a little bit about using the custom layouts feature. It's actually super easy to do. And I will show you custom layouts in action, even with a special guest. I have a very special guest today that we're going to bring on screen. So I hope you're ready. You're in for a real treat. I'm telling you. Okay. So let's see custom layouts. Let me go over to my shared screen once again. Okay, so right now what you're seeing, this version with the little me over here, hi me, in this little tiny window, that is a standard layout, the standard share screen layout. Now you have a couple of options in your default layouts for StreamYard. So if I were to point them out, these are a little out of order because I actually have some custom layouts in here. One of those other versions that you would see, let me show it to you, this, right? So that little button right there, you're looking at that version right now. This is called, I think, news layout. And the reason is because it reminds you of the news, right? When they put a little window up top sometimes. Do they really do that anymore? I don't feel like they do that so much anymore like they used to. They used to do that a lot. But anyway, I don't think they do it quite as much as they used to, but they do sometimes. Anyway, whoa, so sorry. So this is a regular standard layout. Now, if you wanted to change this, okay, so for example, see how it's regular landscape and it's showing, it's just that side. I mean, it's not there. The background is being shown and there's kind of just like maybe some dead space. What if you wanted to fill that entire space up? You can absolutely customize a layout so they would look like that. Or if you wanted this to be higher or whatever. So let's talk about custom layouts. So let me go ahead and go to a different view here. I'm actually going to go to picture in picture. No, I'm not. Yes. No, I'm not. I'm going to go to full screen. Full screen mode. Maybe. Yes, there we are. Okay. We are in full screen share mode. So this is the whole screen is actually my screen share. So over here, I'm going to go down here towards the bottom and you're going to notice edit layout or add a new layout. Now you see this drop down, it ran out of room. So I actually do have additional layouts. I think you can have up to 8 custom layouts. I can't remember. I can never remember. But anyway, so if we want to add a new layout, we're going to go to plus. We're going to hit this plus sign. I'm going to select new. Now you have a blank canvas. So this is just your background. You are going to want to click add item. Now you have a few options here. So you have a dynamic camera grid, a camera slot, and a media slot. So dynamic camera grid is essentially going to make automatic adjustments based on what's going on with you and your possible guest. Camera slot is a little bit more static. It's not going to automatically adjust for anything. It's going to kind of just stay in chill mode. So media slot is exactly what it sounds like. When we talked about presenting earlier, it's going to be if you share your screen, if you share a video and the video upload, or of course those slides, this is what's going to show up. This is that media slot. Okay. So we're going to go to camera, dynamic camera slot is an option. And then of course, single media slot. So dynamic camera grid. This is going to be where you have you and your guests and you want you and your guests to be automatic. It's going to automatically adjust based on that. So let's start with this. Now it's going to keep you together the whole time. So you can't separate these two camera grids. So if you wanted to put you guys at the top of the screen so that you can have, comments and banners displayed underneath here without it really getting in the way, and you wanted to maximize that space, let's say you wanted to go all the way, you can change these things here at the top. So fill or fit. Right now it is fit. If we want to go to fill, watch the adjustment. It's going to crop us in. So it's going to fill the space. So if we wanted to stay wider format, we'd have to make that, the orientation, accordingly. But if we don't care and we just want to fill the space, then we can do this. This is a nice layout for an interview when you want to be doing like Q&A and displaying comments down here at the bottom. The standard layout was basically the one that comes automatically inside your studio, essentially is like this. It puts you in the middle of the screen. You have dead space at the top, dead space at the bottom. I like the idea of putting the guests and you and your guests up top and having a little more fill to fill the screen. And then you have all this space at the bottom for questions and banners. So this is a layout that I absolutely love, and I would recommend it. So if we click save, then it's going to save that. You can rename it whatever you want, save new layout. And now that layout is an option right here. If you notice, I kind of already had it also. But look, this one's even bigger. So if I click on this layout, I'm checking it out to see if it's in my studio that I am in right now. So if I click on this layout and I add myself to the stage, see this, how it's going to create these bars right there? That's because it's in that dynamic layout. So I'm only one person on screen. So there are pros and cons to dynamic layouts. You wouldn't want to be in this layout if it's just you though, because it's literally designed to be a guest. So let's talk about an alternate. First, let's also show what this can look like with a guest on screen. Okay? So here's our guest, our special guest. It's our special guest gnome. Now, I will tell you that I'm cheating. I'm using the extra camera because if you're using the extra camera feature, it's also going to put them into the second camera slot. Now, if I had a guest on screen, this is where they would be and their name would be displayed and whatnot. But I just wanted to show you what it looks like. Now, that's not a photo. It's a real gnome. It's a real fake gnome. Oh, my camera. It's real. It's right there, right next to me. It's right next to me. Okay, so sometimes you just have to kind of do that, right? You just have to kind of like figure out a way to have a demo with a guest, right? Okay, so do we have a spammer? Uh-oh. Oh, I see it now. Okay. Oh, we got another one. Hold on, let me take care of these spammers real quick. Why does this always happen? Like it happens and then it'll come and it comes heavy. Okay, cool. Thank you for keeping your eye out for me. Somebody. Thank you. Appreciate you, Be Live Media TV. Appreciate it. Okay. All right. So let's see. This is a custom layout with a person in it, right? So now let me click on, there's a couple, you notice these other layouts. So if I click on these, it's going to adjust. Here's another, this is a custom layout that I love, by the way. So sometimes, it's great. The old layout for a featured guest was this one. This was the default one. And it was just kind of like, again, a little boring. I really, really, really like, I would love for you to get a little more creative, create a custom layout and try something a little different like this. So if you notice, you can have your guest featured and highlighted in the stream, and then you can kind of just be down here with a little overlay right here. Your logo can still be present up top. Let's see. Let's do that. Right. So another, option for your guest layout for sure. Here's another one that's even just your guest is full screen and you are like down here in the corner. So the gnome, right? So this is a great option. It's going to make you look different. So custom layouts are very easy to play around with. You can edit them, you can change them, you can add as many as you want. Here's one with a screen share. Let's present a screen. I already deleted those slides, didn't I? Dang it. Actually, let's do that again. Let's upload the slides, because I actually want to show you a cool layout that I think is super fun that I don't think again, sometimes it's just like, well, what does the layout need to look like? Here's what I would recommend. As you're thinking about these custom layouts and you need a little inspiration, I would definitely just pay attention to other streamers. Look at other interviews. Go on YouTube and just watch some interviews and just check it out. And you're going to get inspired by what else you're seeing out there, right? So there's all kinds of stuff out there. So, if you see something, you're like, ooh, that's cool, that's fun. That's actually how I get my ideas. And so this idea I'm about to show you that we're going to design together is one that I got from just watching somebody. Yes, genealogy with Amy. So Amy, she says you can drag and drop the featured person and host to swap the arrangement. Yes. So I'll show you that in just a moment once we get going here. So let's go back to my screen. And I'm going to show you how to do this. This is a cool layout that I love. So we're going to design it from scratch together. We're going to add a media slot. Okay, right here. We're going to put it, and if you notice, it's going to snap. I love the snap. It's going to show you how to put it right in the middle. I'm going to make this a little bigger. So we're going to go here. I'm going to turn off that logo. So we're going to go here. All right. Next, I'm going to add a camera slot. Now this time, instead of the dynamic camera grid, I'm going to just add a camera slot. And it starts with camera number 1. Now, yes. So camera number 1. So I'm going to go with fill because I'm going to change the orientation, and we're going to put this camera slot out here. Okay. And so I'm going to put it right there. It's middle. It's horizontally aligned. I'm going to have a little tiny overlay with the screen. And then I'm going to add another item. Actually, no, we're going to duplicate this. Now by duplicating this, it's going to add camera slot number 2, and it's going to be the exact same size, which is key. You need to be thinking about this, because if I added a camera slot separately, it's going to just start over from scratch. And then I have to try to make it the same size. So we're going to delete that. I'm going to duplicate this. And now camera slot number 2 is the exact same size as camera slot number 1. Okay, so get it to where you want, and then you've got it the way you want. I'm just going to simply keep that aligned up right here, and I'm going to put it out there just like the first one. So now I've got this kind of cool layout, right? So we're going to save this. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to add myself to the stage. I'm going to add my guest to the stage. It's going to just go to that default style. And now I'm going to add my screen to the stage, my slide. Now, let me go to full screen so you guys can see this a little better. There we go. Okay. So what you see right now is the default guest and shared screen. So let's go to that one I just designed. Let's go to this one right here that we just designed. Woo, look how different that looks. How fun is that? See, like that looks so different. And I can then go through and change my slides. Now, granted, the overlap, you got to think about that. You know, do you want to do an overlap or do you not want to do an overlap? Maybe you don't. But how fun is this? And imagine if my gnome friend here was actually a real person talking with me and we were talking about this presentation together. I love this layout where it's right in the middle. So I just kind of wanted to give you guys an idea of kind of like what you can do here and how you can put it, you know, right in there. So just get creative with it. And you can edit these layouts. You can add these layouts. I mean, again, if you want to edit something after you've created it, then all you got to do is change it up, right? Maybe we want to raise this up because we want to make sure we have room for comments at the bottom. Then that's all you got to do. Click save. Oh, we've reached the limit of our 8 custom layouts. So I can't create a new one, but I can update the existing one. So I just raised everything up a little bit so that, again, as you can see down at the bottom, now I've got plenty of room for comments that can come up and be displayed without violating myself, my guest, or my screen share. So super, super fun. Definitely want to use those custom layouts feature for sure. So now back to this question that Amy had. Let me show you quickly how this works. So I'm going to go back to share my screen. So if I have a guest on screen with me, let's just say we're in this mode. This is a custom layout. And I want to now I want to feature myself in the big screen, not the gnome. All I have to do is drag. And you notice that right there? Drag and replace. So I'm just clicking and holding it down and then I'm swapping it. That's how you swap that. This is actually important to know because if you're in the standard, screen share layout like this, and you want your guest to be the one that's there, you've got to switch them. So you have to switch them in this layout first, and then you can go to, now they are the featured speaker. So featured speaker is always slot number 1, camera slot number 1. But when you are in any layout where you're both on screen, then you can simply swap. So now I am camera slot number 1. So super, super fun. You got to play around with it. Definitely got to play around with this stuff to get comfortable with it. But you can practice. So like I said, if you want to practice what it's like to have a guest on screen, if you're on the professional plan, then grab a second webcam or even your phone, or heck, even just dial in with your phone, literally invite yourself to your own stream and just practice this stuff, because you've got to practice these things or you're never going to feel comfortable, especially with things like custom layouts and dragging and dropping and swapping and even toggling between the different layouts that you have. So, this is why I always say create a Facebook group that's just you in it and just get in there and play around with it. You can also play around with most of these features without being live. As you notice, I'm not live in the screen you're seeing. This is just another studio, and that comment is always there, the demo comment. And so you can see and test that it's going to look okay with a comment on screen. So custom layouts. Are you using them? Do you love them? Are you scared of them? What do you want to know about custom layouts? So definitely, you definitely want to check them out. So, all right, if you're just not joining us, I'm going to cover one more feature. This is a newer feature that's recently come out, and I am going to talk about it briefly, and then I'm going to do some Q&A. I've got a little time for some Q&A. Probably do a be right back screen and go get a glass of water because I could use some water, right? But I am definitely going to get to some Q&A here in a moment. So we're having some fun today. Creator Classroom says, Mel is sharing all the stuff today. Yeah, we're having a lot of fun. I'm liking this. All right, let me grab some questions, see if I see any questions up here. Good question, because I was posting comments, so I will grab that right now. Questions with viewer comments. Can only host post comments from YouTube on the screen, or can the guest also post them on the screen? This actually, so there's a couple ways to answer this question. One is that if you use StreamYard Teams, it's probably a feature I should have talked about because I feel like people don't realize everybody has it. StreamYard Teams, you can actually give another user essentially access to your account. They can either produce behind the scenes or they can be right here on screen with you co-hosting, and they can control almost everything if you give them those rights. When you're co-hosting with somebody, they are going to be able to display those comments. So if it's just you and it's just a guest and you don't give them those rights, they won't be able to display those comments. So that's kind of a thing. Now, all of your guests can see the comments in the studio while they're in the studio. They are going to have a comment feed, so they can see all the different comments coming from in the various platforms for sure. So good question. Definitely related to what I was just talking about. Can you delete layout? You can delete layouts. Yes, you can definitely delete layouts. Outpouring of limit internet ministries. For sure. Yeah. Yes. Brigetti says, good thing you're showing that, Mel, because it's a lot of people are not aware of how easy it is to switch. Yes. Switching for sure, from the guest. That's what I was showing. Poodle Professor. Custom layouts is let me double check. I do believe it is a paid feature. I'm about to look really quick. It's not listed on the price chart. So I always like to, so the price chart is usually how I go check what's what and what is included where. It is not listed on here from what I see very quickly from skimming. So I actually am not totally sure. So Brigetti, if you're still here, do you know the answer to that question? I'm not 100% sure if custom layout, I thought custom layouts was a basic, at least on the basic plan feature, but perhaps it's not. Maybe everybody has custom layouts. I'm not honestly sure. So usually what I do is I refer to the price chart, but the price chart doesn't list all the features. So it could be absolutely 100% on the free plan. Gator wants to know if you can reorder the layouts. Yes. In fact, let me quickly show you a couple things that's pretty important. So let me go back to that version. So down here, you can change the order of the layouts. You can, you have to actually go into your settings. So if we go to settings, we go to layouts, this is actually where you're going to reorder them. Also where you can rename them, delete them here as well. But right here, if you were to drag, and you will move them around, but you have to be in your settings in order for that to be the case, right? So this is also something that's important is if you're a Stream Deck user, then if you go to your hotkeys, your custom layouts are now also listed. So they will actually pull through the name that you have, and you can set hotkeys to those custom layouts as well. So that's you would create a hotkey for it, and then you would map that hotkey to your Stream Deck or whatever shortcut. If you just want to use the keyboard shortcut to go from one layout to the other, you would do that as well. So in your hotkeys, those custom layouts are also in there. But yes, you go to the layouts tab in your settings, and that's where you can reorder those. So great question. I'm glad you asked that because I did not point that out. All right. Let me get to the last thing that I wanted to talk about today. And that is the new feature, the Portrait Studio. So, this has been coming for a while, and I think that StreamYard had this. They had it ready. I believe they had it ready because they were very fast to react. And I know that StreamYard, I believe, was one of the beta behind-the-scenes kind of platforms that Instagram was working with to kind of test the API. So Instagram recently opened up their API so that third-party platforms could connect and talk to, if you will, other platforms. So like StreamYard can now connect to Instagram and create content on Instagram. Before, Instagram had their API locked, and so you could not use third-party applications with Instagram. There were a couple of applications out there that found a way to do it. However, it was very prohibited, and if you were using it, you actually risked losing your Instagram account altogether. So we won't talk about those or talk about that any further. But now you can use StreamYard to go live on Instagram. You can use StreamYard to create vertical portrait mode videos if you wanted to use the studio to create content that you would then use as a reel or maybe a YouTube short, for example, or a TikTok video, to be honest with you. So that is actually a newer feature that's come out recently. There's a really great tutorial over on YouTube that I'm going to actually grab a link to, and then I'm going to post it in the comments, the chat. So if you're on YouTube, you will see this link. I'm going to grab it very quickly. Let's see. Dana did this video. It's a really good video. A nice tutorial. So I'm going to grab the link to that. I got to click it.
Oh, excited.
Mute it. Share it. Copy it. Go to comments. All right. So portrait mode tutorial. So I am going to post this over on YouTube. So if you are watching on any other platform, you'll need to go over to the comments on the YouTube video. We're live on YouTube as well. So I'm just now posting it. So that is a tutorial video that Dana did that goes into all the cool stuff. It shows you the feature. It's fantastic. But really quickly, I am going to kind of do a little bit of a demo with this. I don't think it's going to screw things up. Okay, perfect. Brigetti says custom layouts is available on all plans. So if you're on a free plan, you absolutely have access to those custom layouts. So again, you can upload videos to your studio and you can customize layouts. So generous, so generous. Okay, so here we go. We're going to talk about portrait mode. So portrait mode, again, you can use this to stream to Instagram. I actually demoed this myself yesterday. I had not done it. It was interesting, but I loved the prompts. It made it very easy. StreamYard made it very easy to figure out what to do. But you can also use this to create, like I said, vertical, portrait mode videos that you can upload to really any social platform, but especially, Reels, TikTok, or YouTube Shorts. So if we go to back to the studio. Yes. Okay, so we're here in the studio. I'm going to go to create. Okay. I'm actually going to go back to my account. Create. We'll just say recording. Okay. Demo. Portrait. Boom. Create. Now, it's by default going to start your studio in regular old portrait mode, okay? So, or landscape mode. But if we go to our settings and we go to general, you are now going to see the option of orientation, and that is landscape by default, and then that is portrait. Now, it's important that you select this before you click record or before you click go live, because you cannot change it once you are already in process. And when I say in process, I mean either recording or live. So right now, we're live in landscape mode. I cannot change that to portrait mode in the middle of this stream. Okay? So let's see. This is hilarious. Ro, where have you been, my friend? We're already streaming to Instagram, my friend. We've been streaming to Instagram. That's what we're talking about right now. So do you know the competition has Instagram Live? When is this going to happen for StreamYard? Done, already there, been there, done that. You can absolutely use StreamYard to stream to Instagram Live. So we're going to select portrait mode. Okay, so it's going to change it. Shift videos down for comments and banners. Watch. You notice it said shift videos up for comments and banners when it was on landscape? When you go to portrait, you are going to notice and see that that it is changing a little bit of the layout. And this is intentional and it's great. Because I don't know if you've ever watched Instagram Live videos, but those videos, you are going to see comments and people underneath the face. So you would not want the banners and the displayed comments to show up below you. You'd want them to show up above you. So here you're not going to see any differences yet, but when we enter the studio, you are going to notice a big change. We are in portrait mode. So here I am in portrait mode. So what's key here is, again, centering yourself. So you do want to make sure that you are in the very center of your webcam, because that is the very center of portrait mode. And so you don't have as much wiggle room or leeway. You want to make sure you stay in frame. So that's important. The other thing you're going to notice is that you have some layouts underneath. So let's go ahead and bring my special guest back on. So our special guest is here once again. Now, again, you're filling the screen, but if I were to be multi-streaming this portrait mode over to YouTube, which, by the way, it is going to stream in portrait mode. I can show you an example of what that looks like from another one of our StreamYard users, Kenya Kelly. She was live yesterday. She was multi-streaming to Facebook, to YouTube, but she also went ahead and used StreamYard to stream to Instagram. And so she went live in portrait mode, and it was completely fine. Like it was okay. It was not a big deal. It is going to put you in the middle, and then I'll show it to you in a second. But if I display a comment, it's going to show up top, as you notice there. So again, if you are streaming with to Instagram, down here, right about down here where you see me, this is going to be covered up with your live viewers on Instagram. So they kind of overlay, and comments come up, but they overlay the bottom of this feed. So it is a little bit one of those things to think about when you're streaming. Now, eventually, if you go to create a custom layout, it's not there yet, but that is a beautiful statement. It says portrait custom layouts coming soon. So StreamYard is absolutely going to give us the ability to customize the layouts in our portrait studio. Why do I love this? I love this because we will be able to change the orientation so that our guest and us are higher. Therefore, those words and the comments and the viewers that are showing up live on your Instagram are no longer going to be covering up somebody's face. Like if that was happening right in here, my special guest would be, their face would be covered up with these comments, these live viewers. So it's coming. It's cool, right? So again, you have all these different layouts. Now, if you want to share your screen, let's share a screen again. You can do that. Now, again, as you notice, not necessarily the most friendly layout right now. And that is simply because this is kind of in beta mode, right? So this is going to continue to evolve, and you're going to continue to be able to create different content. Now, what's really important when you're thinking about portrait mode, when it comes to creating content, is all of your assets, if you will, you have to design them and create them so that they are fitting that format. Because pretty much everything you go to, it's not going to be like that. I would highly recommend you use tools like Canva and create things in that mode. So eventually when you're sharing your screen or sharing a file or whatever, you're going to be able to create that file and it's going to fill the whole screen. So you got to think about this stuff as you're going into portrait mode. This is actually, I'm going to share a little bit of a bonus really quick because I can already see this coming. So another heavily underutilized feature is the folders feature. And I think that as you evolve and decide to use portrait mode and then you still want to use landscape mode, you need to have a folder and you need to have it just solely for portrait, because all of your digital assets, your countdown timers, your videos, your overlays, all those things are going to need to have a very different design so that they are accommodated by this portrait mode. So you want to use the folders feature, upload all of your assets into that folder. And so maybe you have a portrait mode live show, and then you have your regular live show. So separate folders are going to allow you to have separate assets. So let me show you what I mean by that really quick. So let me go back to share my screen. I'm going to go full screen this time. So over here, you'll notice. So when you're in your regular studio, this is what you see. When you go over to brand, up here at the top, again, so many people don't notice this. Up here at the top, you have the option to create different brands, different brand folders. So right now, notice how it's blue. It's just kind of nothing really in there, nothing crazy, pretty basic, right? But if I go up here and I go down to demo brand, well, look, the colors just changed. The background just changed. I've got different digital assets that I can show. Let me go back to this is getting, okay. So when you display an overlay right now, again, it's got some quirks. It's not ready. This stuff's not, these aren't in the right design. These aren't in the right layout. So again, I can have different brands with different digital assets inside of the studio. So you need to make sure that whatever you upload into your portrait folder is in portrait mode. Right now, these are all just landscape mode, so it automatically makes these changes. So create a portrait folder for all of the same assets that you want to use, but make them so that they are the correct layout, so that you're not having to worry about having all these different weird assets in one brand. Create separate folders so that you have different stuff. Again, I feel like highly underutilized feature by so many people. They don't realize this is there. So use the brand folders feature to create all of your portrait mode assets for your studio, put them in their own folder, their own brand folder. And then for your landscape shows and videos, you have a separate folder where all of those digital assets are in landscape mode to fit that type of layout. So you can use all these different assets, not get them mixed up, and you can have them separated for your separate type of formats. So portrait mode folder and a landscape mode folder. Do it. Okay. So with that being said, I mean, what do comments look like in portrait mode? So great question. I can show you right now. So if you're looking, so this screen you see is what it would look like. Here's a demo comment. It's going to show at the top. Now it's going to put your background up there, and that's what's going to show. So they are going to be above you, not below you, like they are when you're in landscape mode. So great question. We've literally got 2 comments on screen right now because of that. So, okay. Will portrait mode show up in YouTube Shorts feed automatically? So not yet. Not as of right now, because again, I think it could possibly happen. So I don't know if you guys know this, but you can now go live in portrait mode on YouTube. But as of right now, the third-party apps aren't doing that. So if I'm live in portrait mode in the studio right now, as of right now, and I go live on YouTube, it's literally I'll show you what it looks like. I'm gonna pull up an example of a freaking awesome content creator, Kenya Kelly. I don't know if you guys know Kenya yet. She's actually really active on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. But she just did this live yesterday, actually, over on YouTube. She did a kind of a multi-stream, and she actually was live on on YouTube, and she was live on Instagram. And by the way, it was a really good live show. It was really, really good. So let me click on this and pause it. Okay. So let's show Kenya really quick so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So this is what it's going to look like when you are live using portrait mode. Now literally, do you see this white stuff on the sides, that's what it's going to do. So she's in portrait mode. Now on Instagram, she was full screen on my phone, but on YouTube or wherever, like Facebook, this is what her live would have looked like. It simply just had some white space to the left and to the right, right? So you can definitely still do it. What I don't know is what that, again, I'm almost certain that it still goes full landscape mode when you are on, oh my gosh, my phone's going crazy. So let me find her. I'm going to look at this really quick and I'm going to try to show you what this looks like even on the, oh, you know what? It did. So this must be new because this wasn't the case before. All right, so let me show you. So this is what, there she is. That's the same stream, but on my phone, it fills the phone. So I literally was watching people demo this like a couple weeks ago, and it wasn't filling. It was still going live like in a landscape mode. So maybe that's something new that's kind of been pushed through. So it absolutely looks like it's going to, if I'm watching on my desktop computer, then what you're going to see is what you see here. So Kenya is here. I can still watch her, but it's got the sides, right? But on my phone, it absolutely came through as full screen vertical mode. So pretty cool. Super cool, right? Yep, there you go. So there you go. So yeah, it's definitely working now. So perfect. And it is going to go into the short feed. That's right. So I did see that as well. Sweet. So Sterling Wheel says, I use portrait on YouTube and get much better outreach. So yes, you can absolutely create these live streams with StreamYard now in vertical mode and test it out. See what happens. See if it's gonna work for you. So again, super easy to use. Just keep in mind your digital assets need to be oriented to a portrait mode. So use that folder so you can separate those assets so that when you want to go live in that version, you can. Now, questions that come up often with this topic, and then I'm going to answer some questions that were posted earlier in the show. So one of the things that I think that is important to keep in mind is the multi-streaming conversation. So if you're going to go live in portrait mode and you want to multi-stream onto various platforms, now that you have this portrait mode option, you have more to think about, more things to think about and consider. So for example, if you are live in landscape mode and you want to go live on Instagram just because you can, you have to use a stream key, by the way. It's a little bit different. But again, watch that video that I posted earlier in the chat that Dana did. On Instagram, it's going to look different than it's supposed to versus it's going to be full screen on a desktop computer. So sometimes you have to just make a choice and go all in with that choice and know that maybe the user experience isn't going to be exactly what's desired, over on the platform. I will say, portrait mode's pretty important to consider because even as Sterling, who was it? It was Sterling Wheel. Sterling Wheel said, I'm getting a really good reach with the portrait mode. There it is, better outreach. I personally think that, like with everything, you just got to try different things. I think if you're going to share a screen and do tutorials and you're a visual stream, maybe the portrait mode is not going to be the most friendly. It's going to be a little tricky. But if you are just talking and creating content, then maybe try portrait mode and see what happens. I think you got to try a variety of things so that you can figure out what's going to work best for you and your audience. So, but with back to the multi-streaming comment, multi-streaming is not for everybody. And there's a couple things to think about. Who's your audience on Instagram and who's your audience on YouTube? Are they interested in the same things? Is it the same persona? Is your persona on Instagram the same persona that's over on YouTube? Is your persona on TikTok the same that's over on YouTube? Some people I know are very, very comedic and silly, and they're just creating these viral style videos over on Reels and over on TikTok. But then on YouTube, they kind of get down to business, right? Their stuff's a little more serious. It's a little more strategic. It's more like educational. Very different experiences, right? So maybe it makes sense to introduce add, maybe it makes sense to add this more serious educational person over here. But you also got to remember, some people are only subscribed to you because you're funny and you're doing these really silly videos. It's just something you have to think about. What is your audience on each of these platforms? Is your content of interest to them? And is your persona of interest to them? And when I say persona, what I mean is, again, it doesn't mean that you're somebody on TikTok and it's not really you. And then there's this person on YouTube that's the real you. It doesn't mean that. It just means the TikTok version is the TikTok version of you. That's the comedic, funny entertainer. That the YouTube one is the down and dirty, real serious stuff. So just because you have different personas doesn't mean you're fake or inauthentic. It just means you're sharing a one side of you that you're maybe not sharing over here, or you're doing it in a different theme, right? So think about that before you just start multi-streaming to everywhere. Because one of the biggest mistakes I see people make when they get the ability and they have, I can multi-stream, it's that easy. It's not necessarily what you should do. So same thing with this portrait mode thing and this landscape and all this stuff. Be thinking about some of these things. Should you actually be on Instagram and YouTube at the same time? I actually felt like what Kenya did yesterday was great. I loved it for a couple of reasons, because I actually think that what she was doing in this particular live show that she did, she was actually showing her Instagram file. Like, it was like, hey, I'm more than just this. You follow me for these tips. Guess what? I got even more in my pocket for you. I can go even more strategic with you. And it was actually fantastic. But because her reels and her TikToks are funny and they use that format, but they still are tips about marketing and helping people market themselves. This other stuff that she's doing, she has way more to teach. So she was almost like introducing, hey, by the way, I have more to show you and teach you. And she was inviting them into this challenge. So she was using it as a promotional way. So it made a ton of sense for me, how she did it. But you just got to think about what makes sense for you. Just be thinking about it a little bit, right? Just be thinking about it. It's always something that you, I want you to always be challenging yourself and thinking about what could you be doing to take it to the next level. So dream talking with Vicky says, my wheels are spinning. Okay, good. I'm glad. Eileen Smith is here. What's up, Eileen? Haven't seen you in a while. Hopefully you're doing fantastic. I can't remember if I can or not. Yes, let's try it. Portrait mode tutorial. I'm going to try to put this link over. Sometimes it did work. Okay, so you should have that, Larry, over on Facebook. If you're watching in the group, it's not going to be in the group. It's on the Facebook page. If you're watching on YouTube, I definitely posted the same tutorial link on the YouTube, in the YouTube comments as well. Cool. Dad Hat Chronicles says, this is great for my sports talk channel. Thank you so much. Okay, so I am going to answer a few questions that I saw come in earlier in the show. So Yogesh had this question about 1,000 years ago when I first started. Do locally recorded streams get saved on PC too? Do they take storage? So if you can absolutely set it up so that your videos will record to your computer, including your guest, but you do have to turn that setting on, and they do take up storage. So they still are going to take up storage. So good question. Okay, so back to the multi-streaming thing. So OJ DePaco said, watching on Facebook doesn't show as many comments, whereas if I switch to YouTube, there are comments galore. Why is this? Simply because there's more people watching on YouTube and more people commenting on YouTube. That's simply that. So in fact, right now we have, I'm not sure what's going on over on X, but there's a lot of people watching on X. Y'all aren't commenting, but you're watching. We have 79 people watching over on X. We have 43 watching on YouTube, and only a couple from the Facebook community and about 9 from our Facebook page as of right in this moment. So I've got 133 live viewers right now, 134. Just went up. But most of them are watching on X and then over on YouTube. If you're watching on X, put a comment in there. Are you really here? Hello? There's a lot of you. Say hi. Just say hi. Say you're watching over. Where are you watching from? My X viewers, where are you watching from? So that's simply to answer that question. So if you're multi-streaming, that's the thing to keep in mind. That's why I like displaying comments when I talk about them, because if somebody's watching on Facebook and they're like, who's OJ DePaco? I didn't see that comment show up in these comments that I'm seeing. Well, if you display the comment, then they're going to realize, oh, they're watching over on YouTube. That makes sense. The Expedition Project said, does the StreamYard giveaway tool work on the webinar or only via YouTube and Facebook, etc.? I'm not sure if it works on StreamYard on air, to be honest with you. I've not used that, nor have I seen or heard anyone talk about it. So it would be something you should be able to test. If it's going to work, you would be able to see it. So the giveaway tool, you just simply go to StreamYard.com/giveaway, and then it's going to display whatever live event you're in the moment. And if you're on air and it works with on air, it would show up in there. If it doesn't show up in there, then it probably doesn't work with on air. But I honestly don't know the answer to that question. Good question. Ask that question in the Facebook community. So again, I always make sure everybody knows we have a Facebook group. It's a great place to ask your questions and get answers to them, because I can't answer everything. Man, I could answer a lot, but I can't answer everything. You know what I mean? So if I don't know the answer to your question, or if I don't get to your question today, go over to the Facebook community, post it in there, and you're probably going to find somebody either smarter than me or way more knowledgeable than me on that topic, and they can answer the question for you. So definitely one of those things. All right. I already answered that question. I know I did. Sup Talk Radio says, if I set a show to start at a certain time, can I have a preloaded video start automatically at showtime? Okay, there's a couple ways to do this. Well, this is a great question for Nick Nimmin. I swear to God, I guarantee he would be able to answer this flawlessly. So I'm trying to think about what you're actually asking. If I set a show to start at a certain time, let's say, for example, you schedule it for Friday at noon, like I did today. Can I have a preloaded video start automatically at showtime? So there is I think the short answer to this question, specifically the way you're asking it, is no. So you can schedule a stream, and then you can create a preview video, like a trailer, right? In fact, Nick did this not that long ago for the StreamYard stream. So he scheduled his stream, but then he uploaded a preview video that was basically him saying, here's what we're going to be talking about in today's live video, blah, blah, blah. I hope you can tune in. Now, I've never personally done that myself specifically. So again, great question for Nick. Honestly, ask this question in the Facebook community and tag Nick Nimmin, and he's going to be able to answer it. Now, when it comes to you having that live broadcast start, and at the very beginning of your live broadcast, having a live or a video start when you start the video or the live broadcast, you can't automatically make it so that when you click go live, all of a sudden some sort of live or video starts. You would have to do it in the studio yourself. So for example, you would click go live, and then you would click that video that you want to play, like an intro video, and then it would start playing. I actually would recommend you do that, because when you click go live, there is a delay between the moment you click go live and actually when it starts broadcasting. And it's a few seconds. Then also, you got to always remember, not everybody is actually watching you ready for it to start. So if that video started right when you clicked go live, the first 3 to 5, maybe even 8 seconds are not even going to be broadcast. So that's why I always like to start with an overlay screen, and then I start my countdown video. That is one of the reasons I do that. So it's just one of those things to keep in mind. But yeah, I don't think that really gave them the answer they were looking for, but hopefully it helped. Okay, I got to check and see did any of our X users start saying hi? Nope. I don't even know if I believe this stat. I just don't even know if anyone's here from X. Oh. Eileen, she says, I'm in 3 places if you count Philly. That's hilarious. Okay, Andy's still watching. Andy, you are like all over it today. You are hanging out with us all day, aren't you? I'm doing my real job, he says. Okay, cool. All right, so we have a few people over there hanging out, talking to us on X. Let's see. So Gary Jackson wants to know about thumbnails. Gary, here's the deal. When it comes to thumbnails, I'm going to suggest that you go over, hang out on Daniel Batal's channel. He's actually got a few tutorials about thumbnails. He's also one of our content contributors. And then he and Dee Nimmin do a show. I think it's the second Saturday of every month. And it's awesome. They almost always talk about thumbnails when they do that show. So you can get some live comments and live feedback in those two areas. However, Canva, just go to Canva, go to thumbnail template, and you're going to see all kinds of really cool, easy to just manipulate yourself thumbnails. So I wanted to answer that really quick. I wanted to make sure I saw something. What did I see? Yes, that's a great point, Gabrielle. You can have a video background, then after a few seconds, launch your video. So yeah, and a video would just be a motion background. Oh, here we go. We got our ex people coming to say hi. What's up, Ayla? Good to see you. Okay, so something that tomorrow. Okay, thank you, Creator Classroom. Yes, because tomorrow is the second Saturday, isn't it? So live right here on the StreamYard channel, 11 o'clock Eastern. That is when they will be here. So Gary, tune in and tell those guys I sent you. They'll love it. Okay, so I was getting ready to say something. What was the point I was going to make? Oh, the video background. Back to that question about the videos, starting your live stream with a video. Depending on what you're going for, you could have that looping video going and have it just going. And then when you start your stream, it's there and it's looping. But I don't know I don't think that was really what they were asking. Okay, this question was asked earlier and I really liked it. So I wanted to also get to this one. That bubble life. Advice on going live and no viewers. How long should you stay on? Feels weird. Okay, so that bubble life. When you're getting started, anyone who is just getting started with live videos and you feel like you don't have either a live audience or you're just getting started in general and your audience and your followership is still fairly small because you're just getting started. Listen up. Here's the deal. I absolutely still want you going live, even if you don't have anyone watching. There's a couple things to think about here. One, to answer your question, how long should you stay on? I believe that you should plan your live video knowing the reality of you're just getting started or you just haven't built that live viewership yet. And I want you to create your content and create your outline and create your show and deliver your show knowing that. Meaning you are creating this live video to go live for the algorithm purposes and everything else, but also for the replay. So don't dilly-dally, don't putz around, get to your point, get it going, make sure you get it through. And then if there's no one live to interact with you, don't stay on just for the sake of staying on. Go ahead and end your live stream. And now you have this really great piece of content that you created that is going to be a great replay or repurposed somewhere else. Now, when I say plan your lives knowing the reality, I don't want you to plan a 3-minute live video. Don't go live just to share something that takes you 3 minutes to talk about. I want you to plan a video, you knowing that you're not going to have a lot of live viewers, so that you're going to need to just keep delivering content, not relying on questions like what you guys are doing for me. I want you to plan it and be intentional about it. So create a flow, create an outline, do some stuff, share some videos, make it engaging, make it interesting, but make it about 10 minutes long, right? Doesn't need to be any longer. And honestly, 10 minutes is just a number I'm using. There is no pure sweet spot. There is no magic formula. There's a lot of data and there's a lot of recommendations and suggestions. But honestly, the right length is whatever length you make it and whatever length you have to offer value. Do not stay live just to stay live. Again, always making sure that you're delivering value. When you're done with your value delivery, then you want to end your show if there's no one live. Now, the other part of this, let's get you some live viewers, right? Let's make sure that you're scheduling your live video in advance. It has a really good engaging thumbnail that draws attention so that people want to see it in the feed and they want to click get notified so that they are going to tune in live. So you're going to schedule that live video about 7 days in advance. Then you are going to promote this live video. You're going to create shorts. You're going to create posts. You're going to go on your Instagram, wherever else you are, and you're going to try to drive traffic to this live video. Make sure people know that you have this live video coming up. Maybe even try what I said earlier with the little preview video, right? So there's a number of ways you can keep driving traffic to your live shows, but you have to drive traffic to it. So you have to be out there advertising about it. So it's not enough to just create a live video and go live. You have to promote your live show. In fact, there is absolutely a video on YouTube that I did talking about this exact concept. So go check that video out and you can learn a few tips on how to get more people to show up to your live show. Sterling Wheel had this comment a long time ago, and I remember seeing it, and hopefully you're still here hanging out with us. I go live from the road a lot and wish I could use my GoPro for a camera and the phone for interaction. Is there a solution? Sorry, my phone's ringing. Let me reread this. I go live from the road a lot and wish I could use my GoPro for a camera and the phone for interaction. Is there a solution? So there is a way you can use your GoPro as a camera. I have never done it. I don't have a GoPro that I use, but I do know that there are people out there that have used it as a webcam. And then your phone for interaction. So what you're describing is you're basically live on your computer using your GoPro. And then you want to be able to use your phone to see the comments and maybe interact with those comments because maybe your GoPro is somewhere else, I'm guessing, or you're not close to that computer. You would need to be in your studio twice, okay? So you would need to be in the studio twice. The key to this and the trick to this, though, is that when you use your phone, even if you have your audio all the way down for whatever reason, it is still going to very faintly play the audio. And you would want to make sure you're muted from your phone as well. You can use it basically as a remote device to control the stream and also see comments and interact with the comments. So I think that's what you're asking. And if not, then clarify your question in an additional comment. Let me check on something really quick because somehow I have received like 9 text messages in the last 10 minutes. Okay, we're good. Just a few spams and then a few other things I already know about. I needed to make sure there wasn't an issue because my phone rang too. Okay, so let's see. Metal Seer says, watching on YouTube and X just to see what X looks like. Yeah, it's there, right? It's there. Okay. I still can't call it X. Honestly, I'm trying. Poodle Professor. I still want to call it Twitter as well, but I'm telling you what, I'm still one of those things. We got 102 people watching over there now. So when Eileen looked, she said 84. Now we got 102 of you watching over on X. So not sure what's going on over there, but it's kind of fun and exciting. I'm liking it. So, Bro Duel. I believe it is a free feature. So I don't know if it's changed, but the custom layouts, according to Brigetti, is a free feature now. So maybe when it first came out, it wasn't. I'm not sure, but it's there. Dance like nobody is watching. It's funny. Okay, so Bubble Life, good. I'm glad it was helpful for you. Sterling Wheel, I'm looking for you. Curious if I answered your question. Bro Duel likes, so you're streaming to Instagram. The portrait mode is awesome. I covered that a little earlier. So if you're just now joining us, you definitely we talked about some features earlier. Now I'm just kind of answering questions. Probably going to close the stream here in a few because we've been live for 2 hours, everybody. I haven't done one of these long streams in a while over here. It's kind of nice. I was able to do it today. Had some extra availability in my day in between it's an extra long lunch break. We'll call it that. Janine's over on X too. Well, hello, Vasu's Vegetarian Kitchen. We got all kinds of people over on X. I think some of you left YouTube to go see what it was like over there. Okay, Hunt Star. This is a good question because I did talk about transitions earlier today. So this is a good question. I like it. As someone who would love to use transitions, I find it tricky to use a video clip to transition into another clip. Is there thoughts of making an option to click on multiple videos to play? That's a really cool idea. So here, I have a couple thoughts for you, to be honest with you. So I would actually say I think I know what you're doing, and I like it. So you just have to create your content knowing what you know. Meaning, if you want to be able to create a transition and then you want to click on maybe a little commercial video or something else that you've created, then you need to create your clips so that they are accommodating. And what I mean by that is the transition clip, make it so that it's let's just do this. Let's do this. We're going to demo this. I got to get back to my StreamYard. So let's say you have a little intro clip and then you want to play a video. I'm going to see if I've got some assets in my studio that will allow me to show you what I'm talking about. Create the transition. So create your small transition and make it long enough, but static enough at the end that it can go into the next thing. Oh, I see what I'm doing. I'm in portrait mode still. Let me get my bearings here. Hold on, just a moment. I'm gonna see if I can make sense by showing this. Okay, so if I go to, let's see what I got. Okay, I got enough here. All right, so let's share screen. Okay, so we're in the studio. All right, so let's say we go from, show start. These are old assets. I don't even use these anymore. Show start, right? So we've got an overlay. Maybe I want to play a countdown. Countdown's done. Or I'm on screen. Let's say I'm on screen. And I want to I'm going to do a transition, and then I'm going to play a video. Okay? So that's what we're going to do here. And I believe that you may even hear the audio with this. I hope you don't get weird audio though. So this is a transition slide, live Q&A. So you see the blue bar, it's going to end. We're going to see it end. It's really long. It's going to go here. It's going to end. But it's static. So I can click from live Q&A, which animates in. I can click from that to the video, no problem, right? So I'm going to click from this and I'm going to go to just a video. So live Q&A. Now it's static and I've got plenty of time. Now I'm going to click video. I mean, that's what you're trying to do, right? Don't you think? So I would say create your assets knowing what you know, knowing that you're going to go from transition video number 1 to video number 2, and just make it so that you can make that transition yourself without a glitch or without having to time it perfectly. Don't make it so it has to be timed perfectly. Create the assets to be accommodating. To answer the second part of this, as of right now, I don't think there are any plans to make a video playlist, if you will, in the videos tool. So, but it's a great idea. I love it. It's just, I don't know that there's any current plans for that. Okay, here we go. Hunt Stand has more. Okay. I missed these comments. Like a queue. So the queue is not part of the current feature set. Is it part of the plan? I don't know that. Good idea though. Okay. The automatic crossfade back to the studio at the end of a video clip makes it tough, although I love that feature in normal live stream situations. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, I think you just kind of, if you click from one to the other, it's a cut. It's not a fade, it's a cut. So maybe, you come up with something that works with that. Everybody's talking about the X thing. Okay, good. I like that we have got people watching over on X. So we've been able to stream to X for quite a while. I just didn't do it because the API wasn't unlocked. So if somebody was commenting on that live stream, I wasn't going to try to monitor the live comments on my phone or somewhere else. So I just I'm not going to multi-stream to X. But then once X opened up the API, and now those comments come right into the studio and I can actually see your comments, I'm like, let's do it. Let's go all about it. Another thing to think about when you are multi-streaming is making sure you can accommodate your audiences in all different locations. So this was my other idea. So HuntStar, that was my other thought, was why don't you just go ahead and make them one video? So combine them into one video. But if you're trying to use a general, if you're trying to use a transition that you use all the time, like I said, like that live Q&A or something, but then you want to be able to just upload different videos to play around. If you have a common transition video, but then you have different other videos that you're always uploading, then I could see why you wouldn't want to necessarily edit them together. But to me, what you're trying to accomplish, I would say just edit them into one video. That was the first thing I was going to say. But then I still wanted to kind of like, okay, well, if you don't want to do that, then what's a solution we can come up with here to make it work for you in the meantime? So yeah, I would say edit it into one video. That would be the simplest thing, I would think, Huntstar, for sure. Well, Patrick Weeks says, oh, wow, I just joined and this is exactly what I'm struggling with right now. Well, good. There's a lot of people who are talking about dark mode for some reason today. I think there's like 5 of you that have commented on dark mode. And I believe all you have to do is change your Chrome browser to dark mode and it will make StreamYard dark. Am I crazy? Is it not that simple? I don't use dark mode, so I don't even know how to do it. Settings. Appearance. Literally can't figure it out. Don't know how to do it. Mode, dark. Okay. It didn't make it dark mode. I feel like Dan has talked about this though, that there is a way to do it. It didn't make it dark. It really didn't, guys. I actually kind of like that though. I did change it. It didn't change it. So all it did was make the border dark up here. That's really all it did. So StreamYard itself is still definitely in bright mode. But I feel like Dan has addressed this before. If any of you know what the hack is on that, let me know. Because a lot of you are really passionate about this dark mode thing. Interesting. So Andy says the comments coming through seems to be kind of hit and miss in my experience when it comes to X. That could be the case. I mean, like I said, I prompted all of my people watching over on X to comment, and there's only a few of you that have. So I'm not sure. Yeah, art Mando. I thought it was as simple as that, but it's definitely not true. So I definitely tried it, and this is all it did. So it really didn't do anything. Okay, good question. OJ DePaco said, yes, you're over 2 hours. And he said, you're going over 2 hours of wonderful information, which I very much appreciate. That said, in your experience, what is a good length for your average webinar? Ooh, webinar or live stream? I mean, they are different. Webinars, in my opinion, for someone to sign up for a webinar and they are there to learn something, to get something, you are going to probably pitch something at the end of that webinar or have a call to action at the end of that webinar. I think webinars need to be 30 minutes to 90 minutes. I mean, I've been on 90-minute webinars before. Heck, I've been on longer webinars before. But honestly, webinars absolutely have to be jam-packed full of value. They are a little bit more intentional. In fact, there's a video I did on our YouTube channel on StreamYard where I talk about webinars. It's like Webinars for Dummies. And I kind of talk about the purpose of a webinar and the difference between a webinar and a live stream. So go check that video out. It's a few months old, but it's a good one. I enjoyed making it. I liked it. So I'd like it if you watched it and go ahead and comment and like it for engagement, so it's good. Lastly, to answer your question, when it comes to the timing of a live stream, I touched on this earlier. It needs to be as long as it needs to be. Now, I do not believe in 3 to 5 minute live streams. I think they're silly and pointless. You might as well just record a video and upload the video. The purpose of a live video is to have discussions, conversations, and it's about relationship building. So pre-recorded videos, 3 to 5 minutes, upwards to 10 minutes, that you need to be to the point, show somebody what they want, let them get in and get out with the value that you're there to bring. And that's it. That's what they're there for. They're there to learn and move on and go to the next thing in their day. A live stream is to have interaction and conversation. So still offering value, get to your point. You're offering points. I covered 5 features today. So I had 5 major points I wanted to make in today's live video. However, there's something about this day today that a lot of you had a lot of great questions, and I actually was able to stay on. So I'm staying on. And so that's why we're over 2 hours at this point. But sometimes I don't always have that kind of schedule. So I need to be a little more intentional about getting through my content and making sure I can answer as many relevant comments as possible. Not every single comment, but as many relevant comments as possible. That's because I might be boxed into a time frame. Today I'm able to stay live, and I can see that we are continuing to trend upwards for live viewers. So now we have over 160 of you watching live, whereas when we started, totally always starts out 30, 40, 50, then it gets up there. Some days there will only be 60 of you here live with me, and then other days there's over 100. If there were only 20 or 30 people here right now and it trickled down, then I'd be like, okay, it's time to close the show, even though people are still commenting and asking questions. So it's a hard answer because it's not specific. And so it really is all situational. But again, the point is that I think it's great to have a live show. You should always intend to be 10 minutes or longer when you go live. So as I mentioned earlier, if you're somebody new, just getting started, or you don't have a lot of live viewers, then you want to make sure that you plan your show to be very content rich. Okay. And be thinking about the people who are going to watch the replay. So the things you say, the prompts you may say things like, let me know in the comments below this video, instead of tell me what you guys think right now. Because you can't get an answer right now because nobody's watching. People are watching it as from a replay. But what the main thing there is, just make sure that you have enough content planned that live video is going to have enough value to actually for you to have a reason to be live. Now, again, if it's not that much content, then just do a pre-recorded video and upload it. Maybe you start there, uploading content, uploading videos, uploading shorts, and then you do less live videos because you don't have that much of an active audience. You'll get that active audience over time, and then you can go live. And again, if people are asking questions and you got time, then stay on with your people. I mean, you're having a conversation. It's no different than when you have scheduled to have coffee with somebody. You're not going to schedule to have coffee with them. Like, you're literally not going to say, meet me for coffee at 8 a.m. You're not going to walk in, get your coffee and say, got my coffee, I'll see you later. You're not going to do that. You're going to sit down with them, enjoy your coffee, have some conversation, catch up with them. But then if you're both kind of done and ready to go on with your day, you're not just going to sit there just to sit there. You're going to be like, awesome. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Let's catch up. Let's do this again sometime. That might be 15 minutes that you had coffee with them. Other times you might meet with somebody and you guys have so much to catch up on and talk about. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I got an appointment. I got to get going. I'm sorry, I have to leave. Well, then you have to leave. And then your coffee date just ended. And then there's going to be times you're going to show up, and next thing you know, you guys are catching up and having such great conversation that the time just eludes you. And you're like, wow, we've been here for 2 hours. This has been fantastic. Let's do this again sometime. It's not really that different. I always say live video is conversation and relationships. It's not that different than how you would go have conversations and build relationships when you're not on live video. So it needs to be as long as it needs to be, and it can be as short as it needs to be. But just when you create it, have a reason for it. Does that make sense? Hopefully that helps. So great question. I love that question. I love that question. So that's probably why I went on a long little tangent about that question, right? So, okay, what's really fun is that we've been hanging out for 2 hours and 12 minutes. We just hit the 2 hour and 12 minute mark, and we got all kinds of people joining live now. Like, Nancy, where have you been for the last 2 hours? Where have you been? So you missed a lot. We've talked about all kinds of things. I talked about the features I wanted to talk about, and now we're kind of having Q&A and chatting. So I am going to go ahead. I am going to need to move on, though. I am, because I do have a few things to do. Really, what's most important for me right now is that Addison's getting home from school in about an hour, and we are then heading to Louisville for volleyball this weekend. And I have not packed yet. She's packed for the most part. I still got to pack. So definitely one of those things I got to get done. So I am, this was super fun. It's been a long time since I've done a long stream. Those of you that are here, that were here live, I really appreciate you hanging out with us. Hopefully you enjoy the change in the background. It's certainly giving me some new energy, because I do think it's important for you to like your space. It doesn't have to be perfect, and you don't have to spend a bunch of money. There's literally a wall with a light behind me. That's about it. And my lava lamps that I love. But my point is that you do need to have pride and do feel good about what's happening in your environment. And when you don't, it is going to possibly make you not want to create content. So if you're feeling that way, take some extra time, take some extra effort to make your space better. It's certainly what I did. I finally just bit the bullet and flipped the desk around and made it so that the wall's behind me instead of all those ugly built-in bookshelves. So anyways, those of you that were here hanging out, I loved it. Thanks again. Appreciate you all so much. I'm going to say bye for now until next time, which is soon. In fact, I'm trying to get Kenya Kelly on the show. I think it's going to happen. We've been chatting about it. I showed her stuff earlier. If you haven't checked her out, go check her out. Kenya Kelly on TikTok and Instagram, but also she is on YouTube and Facebook as well. But I love watching her stuff on Instagram. And now that she's using StreamYard live in portrait mode, maybe she's going to go live a little bit more over there. So super fun. Shout out to you, Kenya. Always great to see what you're doing with StreamYard and all the cool videos you're making and how you're helping people with their marketing. So, all right, everybody, I'm out of here. I will see you guys next time. Thank you again. Love you all. See you later. Have a good day.